Welcome to Wizards of the Tower.
Roleplay.
This episode, we're going to be talking about what level should you begin your campaign at for your characters. Welcome to Wizards of the Tower.
Roleplay.
What level do you think characters should start off with at a beginning of a new campaign?
So, if you're asking my opinion, I would say 4. And I'll tell you why. Okay. 1, you get better spells. Okay. 2, you skip the peasants fighting peasants stuff that you get in level 1 and 2. 3, you get more interesting villains, and you get to do more things, and you get much better feats and much better skill points. So that's why I say 4.
Tom would rather not always have to start off at first or even second level.
No.
I, as a DM, I like starting characters off in a brand new campaign at first or second level, because that gets me to where I can start to understand their characters, and I can kind of pick and choose what kind of magic items they have and the loot that they have and how much treasure they have, and instead of them hoarding all this stuff and saying, okay, at 4th level you get 10,000 gold pieces of magic items, go out and buy whatever you want.
Okay, the way I look at it, and I understand that, and we've started at level 1 before, and it's fine. What is a level 1 fighter? A draftee, essentially, off the farm. Okay? How effective is a level 1 fighter going to be against a gang of outlaws? Probably dead. So the thing is if you start your fighters off a little higher, they tend to be more professional when it comes to the fighting abilities and skills they have. The proficiency with the bow, sword, better armor, that sort of thing. So they can fight as a cohesive group, and it makes a little more sense than having everybody just turn around and run away because they can't take on this bear. I mean, so that's the way I look at it.
It does bring in a greater chance of mortality at lower levels.
Yeah.
Especially if you as a DM throw things at them that may be a little bit too tough and maybe the player should be running away from, but yet they don't think they should run away from it. They're playing their character, and my character doesn't run away, and now the character is dead.
Well, see, that's the thing is everybody in the game thinks at level 1 that we're here to have fun, we're here to have an adventure. What's in the cave? Okay, let's go, let's look. Or you hear a roaring. Roar, oh no! And they run. Well, what are they going to do? Come back when they're level 3 or 4? I mean, they got to level up somehow. You see what I mean? You've got to gain XP. Sure, you can go home and tan some leather and gain XP, maybe after 3 years. But the thing is you've got to gain that XP somehow.
Yeah.
And there's another reason why, essentially, I think that you should start off higher. And this is kind of out there a little bit, but game groups don't tend to last very long. And if you can get a game group past 6 or 8 sessions to where everybody's level 3 or 4, you are lucky.
And that's very true. And that would be a good reason why to start your players off at a higher level adventure. You just hope that your players have come up with enough of a backstory of who their character is at that point. And that's kind of frustrating as a DM, not knowing who the characters are. They just, I'm Bob from across the village, across the field, over there, and that's all, Yeah. I don't have any brothers or sisters, and I don't have a mother or father, and I don't have, they don't know anything about their character.
Sure. And on the other hand, because I can see this both ways, starting people off at first level gives them a chance to learn the game if they hadn't played it before. Yeah. So they begin to learn the dice rolls, they begin to learn the rules, they begin to learn the interactions, they begin to learn how to deal with NPCs, And you can do all that at a lower level where you don't have these drastic consequences. If you anger the miller, what's the miller going to do? Hit you with a club, as opposed to angering the orc chieftain who cuts you in half and eats you. So the thing is you can still learn the ropes, so to speak, from level 1, 2, and 3. And that's there's a lot to that. And I'm not trying to say that you should always do one thing and the other, but maybe it kind of depends on the skill level of your characters.
For a new player, I would say first level is really the optimum.
Yeah.
And there's even been times in previous versions that you start off as 0.
Yeah.
0 class.
Yeah.
And it's a great way for brand new players to learn how to play the game.
Yeah.
If you're an experienced player, once in a while, how often do you really get to play 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th?
It's rare.
It's pretty rare.
Yeah, it's rare.
And, because usually, as Tom mentioned, by that time your gaming group is falling apart and maybe you've got 2 or 3 of the original players. Mm-hmm. Well, so the new players that come in, okay, you got to create a 9th level character. We have a campaign that's going to be coming up here soon. It's one of my old ones that kind of fizzled out. Well, Tom's been wanting to come back to that game for a very long time. And I've been wanting to do that, but we just haven't had the group. Well, now we're starting to rebuild our gaming group. And hopefully we've got players that will stick around. We've got a couple of them that have stuck around.
Yeah.
And, we want to play a high-level adventure. So while Tom's character is like 12th or 13th level, the new characters are going to start off at 12th level.
Yeah.
And that's a point that now maybe they've never gotten to play that high-level adventure, and now they can start to experience what it's like playing that high level of a character.
Yeah.
Having access to those larger spells and more powerful magic items, and and I as a DM will still limit them what they can have. I don't typically say, well, you get 10,000 experience points, 10,000 gold pieces per level, whatever the policy is. I'm not quite for sure.
Yeah.
Of magic, I say, don't pick your magic. I'm going to give you what you have, because I don't want a ton of magic running around in my world.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is you can go overboard with a lot of magic stuff and armors and spells. What I mentioned before about gaming groups disintegrating, they tend to do that a lot. I mean, it's just how the way people are fickle. They don't stick with stuff.
Yeah.
Giving people a chance to play high-level characters is really nice. I really think it's great because most people never get a chance to play that level 12 or 13 fighter or thief or wizard or something. There's rules in the Pathfinder books for all that.
Up to 20th level.
Up to 20th, 18th, or 20th
Even
level.
higher if you get into the mythic.
Yeah, and the thing is they're there for a reason. Those rules are there for a reason. And, most people will never get to experience them. So that's kind of why I tend to think that if you have a gaming group with more experienced players, that maybe you should start them off at 4 or 5 so they would advance quickly to where they would get to the point where they would start experiencing, gameplay at much higher levels.
Now, my last campaign, I think you guys ended up being, 10th level? Mm-hmm. 10th level when we finally ended it.
Yeah.
So, and that was almost a 2-year campaign.
It was. We started out at 1 and worked our way all the way up to 10.
Yeah.
But we had consistent people.
We had consistent people.
Yeah.
Now, another reason why maybe you want to start them off at a higher level is it's a way for them to now start facing off these villains like a lich, or ancient red dragons,
hill giants, big hill giants.
Hill giants are kind of the average level, but mind flayers, beholders, things like that, things that they've never faced, that maybe they've heard tales of, but they've never gotten to face.
Yeah.
And it's a way to kind of test them to see if they're metagaming. Oh, you're running into a mind flayer. Oh, I know that the 9th eye is a disintegration ray. Let's attack the 9th eye.
Yeah.
No, you don't know about that.
You don't know that. Yeah. I mean, you always got someone who's trying to play an angle in the game.
I remember that in the Pirate Board game.
Yeah.
There was a vampire. Oh, well, it's a vampire. And I was like, do you know what a vampire is?
Yeah, I remember that too. We were like,
No, you don't know what a vampire is. You never faced a vampire.
Yeah, we're ignorant of them.
Yes. So, and it's a way, once again, to give them the magic items that they've never gotten to play with. The rod of might, or the whatever, the Vorpal swords and things like that. Things that are kind of fun to play with.
Yeah, great armors, great mounts, great weaponry, that kind of stuff. Now you get to go in, you get to wade into a group of baddies with your sword that crits and that does, you know, all these multiple hits, and you get to chop people up kind of like Aragorn, you know. You get to be those heroes.
Yeah.
And it's really, really nice because you can do all that because you're at higher level. Because you didn't start out at 1, you know. Oh, we got to take on this army, but we're still level 5. Dang, sure wish we were level 10.
Yeah.
You
Now,
know?
in some systems, it's hard to make a consistent challenge for the players at that high level.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot that 5e tends to be that way. That even Pathfinder First Edition can be that way. That where Second Edition has actually figured out more of a balanced way of doing it. Because I remember in the campaign that you guys were in, we were talking about where your 10th level characters. There was a frost giant that I had created.
Undead?
No, he wasn't undead. He wasn't the undead. He wasn't undead.
Okay.
But he was a big bad evil guy.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And he was equivalent to, I think it was a DC 15 challenge, because I wanted to really make a challenge. I went in there and rolled three criticals.
Yeah.
In a row, with 3 attacks, and I'm like, okay,
lucky
boom,
dice
boom, boom.
rolls.
That took him down to more than half of his hit points.
Yeah, lucky dice rolls
in one
though.
attack.
Yeah.
And they took him out rather quickly because it was the luck of the dice.
Yeah, lucky dice rolls, because it can go the other way if the dice are fickle that night. You can end up smashed flat.
Yeah.
So lucky dice rolls can get you a long ways, but that's the way it is with tabletop games like that. Is if you get great dice rolls, good things happen. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's also, and I'll say this about starting people off at higher. It's also fun to build higher level characters.
Yeah.
It really is. It's fun to build them, to add all the different feats all at once and to try to create their style. Well, do I want to make this archer more roguey or more like a fighter? Do I want to make this cleric more of a battle cleric, or do I want to make him just a purebred healer? You get to throw all the characteristics in it at one time and create this character that just shows up fully formed.
Yeah.
It's not like they were a peasant and they had a dream, and then they got a healing potion, and then they had to work their way up. Kind of like those movies where, the hero is the undiscovered little teen, and now the teen has to be trained by the grizzled old veteran to take on the dragon, and he's got his friends, and blah, 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 blah. You could start out fully formed where they're ready to kick butt.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's cool to make characters like that.
Yeah. Everyone gets tired of eating nothing but oatmeal, which is just oats, a little bit of salt, and some water and milk.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how about once in a while making that chicken cordon bleu, or making the lasagna, where you've got all the stuff in this recipe.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it's like, is having this recipe to kind of play with and form this character that would be really powerful.
I personally just love it when DMs say, okay, I need you guys to roll up a 5th level character. I'm like, yes, 5th level character. I get to play with all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. Even in the basic rule books, there's tons of stuff to make a 5th level character. Tons of stuff.
Yeah.
Armor, feats, skills, spells, everything. And it's fun. Magic, everything.
Magic items.
As opposed to, okay, I need everybody to roll up a level 1 character. Okay, cool. That'll take me like 3 minutes. I just think that maybe you should challenge your players a little more.
Once in a while, it is fun to play high level adventures. I remember one that we played. I think it was might have been a canned adventure, and we started off playing 9th level characters, and I rolled up a druid, a female elf, I think she was a half elf druid, with her bear, Bela Bear Friend.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And I think you had a dwarf, and we had it kind of tied together in the story that they knew each other.
They knew each other.
They adventured together for a little while.
Yeah, I was a dwarf something, but man, he was formidable.
Yeah, I think you might have been a dwarf fighter or dwarf ranger. I can't remember.
Yeah, he was really formidable, and I really enjoyed playing that character.
And even though we played it only 2 or 3 times, it was fun. It was fun playing that 9th level druid. I'd never played a druid before, especially 9th level, and having this bear that was her friend. He was more than her friend.
Sure, it's like a huge spell book. I mean, you can have all your different spells to choose from. You didn't have just 1 or 2. You had 15, 20, spells to choose from.
Yeah.
That's what's cool. Playing a high-level cleric is like that. I mean, you get all these spells to choose from, and you get to use them 7 times a day, and it's like, wow, this guy's really badass. It's fun to do that.
Yeah.
So
fun to experience the
Yeah.
what it's like being in upper management once in your life.
yeah,
Or
you have that
you know,
power.
yeah. So anyway, I'd like to hear what you guys think. What level do you think is best to start your campaign off at? Do you prefer starting off at first or second, or do you once in a while like to start a campaign off at mid-level, fifth or ninth, or even
Yeah.
higher?
Yeah.
We'd like to hear what you think. So anyway, we're going to end this episode of Wizards of the Tower.
Role play.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, spread the word. Follow us on Discord, ring the bell. And anyway, may all your adventures be epic.
And keep on rolling, folks.
Thanks, folks. Did you see on my head I got my magic item with magnification?
It helps.
It allows me to see things better.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.